Topic 2.1, the Silk Roads. What were the Silk Roads? The Silk Roads were like highways from a long time ago, connecting many places including China, India, and areas in Europe and Africa. These were not roads like we have today, but paths where people traveled to trade things. The name Silk Roads comes from the trade of silk cloth, which was very important and valuable at the time. Imagine paths going over tall mountains, across hot deserts, and through different lands. That was the Silk Roads. Many people traveled these paths, not only to trade goods like silk, spices, and jewels, but also to share knowledge, ideas, and the ways of their culture with others. This trading and sharing on the Silk Roads went on for hundreds of years, helping different places and people learn from each other. Today we can still see how the Silk Roads help bring cultures closer together through shared traditions and connections that were formed so many years ago. What were the causes of Silk Road trade? Large empires, such as Song China, were expanding rapidly, and people developed a greater taste for different goods, but sometimes their own lands could not provide everything they wished for. This led to a booming trade of luxury items such as silk, gold, and porcelain, primarily facilitated through the Silk Roads. The trade was also driven by advancements in technology that made these exchanges possible and efficient. Technological advancements. We had the caravanserai. Imagine inns along the trade routes where travelers and their animals could rest and recover. These were not just resting places, but also had facilities for storing goods and were secured with guards. The term caravanserai is derived from the Persian words karvan, meaning caravan, and sarai, meaning a palace or an inn. Bills of exchange. These were like early versions of checks that could be used to pay someone in the future. It was a formal promise to pay a specific sum to a named person at a future date, facilitating the smooth flow of trade transactions. Banking houses. These were institutions along the Silk Road providing financial services, including currency exchange and credit facilities, aiding merchants and traders in their business activities, and cashing in bills of exchange. Effects of the Silk Roads. There was a growth of cities and economies. The Silk Roads helped cities like Kashgar and Samarkand grow because merchants used these hubs to trade goods from various places around the world. This trade made them rich and powerful. Countries prospered as the demand for their goods rose. In China, the Song dynasty benefited greatly from the high demand for silk, leading to job creation for peasants and artisans, people who made commercial goods. The spread of ideas and cultures. The Silk Roads also facilitated the spread of beliefs and religions such as Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, and traditional Chinese practices. Merchants traded a drought-resistant rice called champa rice along this network. Individuals like Marco Polo explored these routes and documented their experiences. We're going to delve a little more into his adventures later. And the spread of diseases. Sadly, the Silk Roads also enabled the transmission of diseases. The Black Plague, which originated in China, reached Europe through these routes, resulting in a massive loss of life, with a little assistance from Genghis Khan. So to summarize, what were the causes? Well, there was empire expansion. There were large empires, such as the Song dynasty, that wanted more goods that were not available in their regions, and they wanted markets for their commercial goods. And technological advancements, things like the caravanserai, which were rest stops for travelers and merchants, bills of exchange, that were an early form of credit notes, made trade easier, banking houses, facilities offering financial services to assist in trade. And it was all about moving luxury goods, much like a lot of these places enjoy luxury goods now. There was a high demand for products like silk, gold, and porcelain, and it spurred trade. What did it do? What are the effects? It made city growth. Kashgar and Samarkand became large and rich due to trade. Economic prosperity. Many countries enjoyed economic growth due to increased trade activities. Cultural exchange. Religions. There was a spread of Christianity, Buddhism, Islam, Hinduism, and Chinese practices. Champa rice, there was the trade of this drought-resistant rice variety that came from the kingdom of Kam in tribute to Song China and Marco Polo. His travels and writings showcase the different cultures. Finally, disease transmission. There was the Black Plague from China, went to Europe, killed a lot of people, but it wasn't just that. So, what happened on the Silk Roads? We had development of new trade hubs. We had Kashgar and Samarkand. These cities grew around the trade routes and became centers for buying and selling goods. We had advancements in money and credit systems. We had bills of exchange, banking houses, and the widespread use of paper money. The start of a global economy with easier ways to use and borrow money. It made business, it made trade. The establishment of diasporic communities. These were Muslims, Chinese, and Sogdians. Different groups of people moved and formed small communities in new areas, and they took their culture with them. Some people do that now. We had the sharing of stories, culture, and art. The growth of religions like Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, and Hinduism, the sharing and adapting of classical texts, but a lot of that was through story. So traders shared their religious beliefs as they traveled, influencing the beliefs of people in new areas. And important old texts were kept safe and became part of new cultural practices. And the spread of new plants and health issues. We got the banana, new rice varieties, cotton, and sugar, the widespread citrus fruits. And we got diseases, the bubonic plague, the black plague, the Justinian plague, the plague of Cyprian. New types of food became available worldwide, helping more people to survive and grow. But diseases also spread, causing many people to get sick and die.